Huraira. Abu Huraira means the father of the cat. Father of the cat. There's no Abul Kalb among the Sahabas. Father of the dog. There's nothing like that. Then you see this animal is the most faithful animal. There are certain good qualities about it. One of our South African poets, he wrote some beautiful words about the dog. He said, fidelity, faithfulness, is said to be a human attribute which makes the modern gentleman distinguished from the brute. But that supreme fidelity, inborn in every hound, every dog, which is the mark of man's best friend, in man is rarely found. The dog in many cases is more faithful to you than other human beings, right? But there is a place for the dog. Where? As a guard dog? Yes. As a hunting dog? Yes, Islam allows. Not as a pet in your house, in your bedroom, in your bed. This is what the white man is doing. I read again and again a case where the man is suing for divorce from his wife. You know why? Because when he was to get into bed, the dog growls. When the cat, this is mine. That's what his wife is, the dog's wife. So he said, look, I want to divorce. So Islam doesn't allow that. You can't keep them as pets, you can't fondle them, you can't handle them. As guard dogs, they're very faithful. Keep them outside, in the place. Feed them, look after them, protect them. As a hunting dog, Islam allows, but not as pets. Right? Because our learned men say that the saliva of the dog will contaminate you. There are so many factors. And the best thing is, less said the better. Our men said that, and relatively we are safer than the other nations who keep dogs. See, there are more than 60 million dogs in Britain. 60 million dogs. You know that? In America, you go to Bronx in New York, and you have to mind your steps. Every other step you can dog shit. I've seen on film, in America, the guy is taking his dog for a walk, and the dog excretes. So he takes a plastic bag, and he takes the shit, and he goes and carries it, and he goes in. This is what you have come to. You have to now carry your dog shit. So I said, there's something wrong with you. The whole nation is gone to the dogs.
Brotherji, that may I know the Prophet keeps dogs for what?
What? I don't know. There's something new.
I understand he keeps it as a companion.
No, look, I don't know where you get all this from about dogs and dogs and dogs. Where you thumb-sucking from, I don't know. Look, in my life, I haven't come across that statement. Anyway, right? I don't know what makes you fond of dogs. You must read Dr. Kinsey's The Life of the American Female, and he'll tell you why you shouldn't keep dogs. And you read Masters and Johnson, he'll tell you why you shouldn't keep dogs. Go, read them. Dr. Kinsey, The Life of the American Female, and read Masters and Johnson on the American sex life. And he'll tell you why you shouldn't keep dogs. Right, next one, here. This side here. Come, brother.
Good evening. Do forgive me for not knowing the holy verses before starting this ceremony. And I remember that Sheikh Ahmad Didat mentioned a word about comparative religion, if I'm not mistaken, earlier. I wish to ask you questions, just two.
No, only one.
Only one?
Only one.
Okay, I'll ask the most important question.
That's
and I would like to give one criticism also later.
No. You leave that for yourself. Ask the question. Or go with the criticism. Whatever you want. Choice is yours. You want to criticize, or you want to ask question.
Okay,
not two things.
I'll ask question.
Right.
Okay, the question sounds silly, but I feel it is significant. The question is, who is man and what is the goal of life? And I humbly request Sheikh Ahmad Didat, Dr. Didat, to enlighten on this question in the light of comparative religion studies. Thank you.
Have you got Yusuf Ali's translation? Have you got Yusuf Ali's translation, this translation?
Which
Abdullah Yusuf Ali.
Sorry, I'm a non-Muslim.
That's all right. That doesn't mean that you can't have this.
No, I don't have.
Right? I'm sure they're selling them outside. If you open the index, and the M, look for man. You want to know about man? Right? Look at the man. I tell you what it says about man. Man, over 50 different references. How many? 50. If I started giving you 1 minute for each, we want another hour, huh? Man, God's purpose with man. Second item, vicegerent on earth. He's tested by God. Things men covet, his duty. He's created from clay for a term. He's called to account. Will return to God. His conclusion, 55 different references.
Excuse me, I'd like to limit my question to a smaller scope. That is, I'd like to know that whether the man, is it the body, the mind, or what do you call metaphysical entity or soul? Yes, sir.
His body, mind, and soul.
All together?
Man, complete man. Body, mind, and soul. Okay? Thank you. This side, last this side, and one more there. Yes?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Actually, I'm just nervous. I want to ask one question about. Anyway, my name is Muhammad Azharani. I came from ITM Shah Alam. The question is, I have heard that in UK there is a Bible which is being translated to Arabic language, which when we read it, that we can distinguish between Al-Quran and Injil. Okay. I said if we know the Arabic language. So I want to ask you about this question. How can I answer if one Christian asks me that they just that what they have done is against what Allah said in Al-Quran?
What? Said into what?
I mean, we know that Allah said in Al-Quran that if you want to say that Al-Quran is liar or something, not true, then you can try to make another Quran, even though it is just a surah. Okay? Then the Christian, they can translate the whole Bible to Arabic language, just maybe for against what Allah said in the Quran.
You understand the question?
Okay, maybe I think I can repeat the question. Okay, this is a bit a long question. Okay, what I have heard that in UK there is a Bible.
Blackbird.
The Bible.
Or Bible.
Bible. There is a Bible that has been translated to Arabic language.
Yes, so yes, there are Arabic Bibles available. Yes, so what?
Okay. Which is when we read it, I mean when we don't know any Arabic language and we don't know any Arabic, so when we read it, that we can distinguish between Arabic and between Al-Quran and Injil, between Al-Quran and Bible. That means that.
Oh yes, this chalk and cheese. The difference between the Quranic Arabic and the Arabic of the Bible is chalk and cheese. You know, poles apart, words apart. There's no comparison whatsoever. Arabic, but there's no comparison. Arabic is Arabic. You can write Lady Chatterjee's liver in Arabic. Yes, but it is not comparing to the Quran. So the Arabic Bible is the Arabic Bible, but there's no comparison with the Quran. See, you want me to quote you some verses from the Bible and the Quran? Because أقيموا لهم نبيا من وسط إخوتهم مثلك وأجعل كلامي في فمه فيكلمهم بكل ما أوصيه به ويقول أن الإنسان الذي لا يسمع